Hi everyone, welcome to the Inside Warrington podcast. Really excited today that we've dragged the voice winner all the way back to Warrington. Mo Jamil, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thanks for coming down and have a chat with us today.
So
we're really humbled that you come down. We want to talk about reliving that moment with you for aspiring musicians all across Warrington and what that was like. But just talk us through a bit about you, Mo. Obviously, pretty much everyone knows who you are, but where did it all start for you? When did you kind of realise music was your thing and that was your passion?
For me, it all started with when I was young. I always had a passion for music, whether it was singing myself or whether it was listening to music. Old artists like Sam Cooke, Otis Redding, the old school kind of soul music, but then also like old school R&B. So from there, I kind of tried to explore as many avenues as I could. And as a result, I'd sing in school, doing school plays, and that was one of the things that kind of pushed it for me. Did Mary Poppins when I was 11 in my last year of school, so I was like, I was like, I'm really going to enjoy this, because as a result, when I then started high school and I went into music classes, the music teacher was like, oh, you've got to, you seem to be really be really good at this. And when you start to hear other people saying it, I was like, oh, do you know what, maybe this is something I should pursue. So from there, I just tried to learn as much as I could, whether it was piano, guitar, just trying to expand my musical repertoire, basically. And then obviously, when I was younger, we were both in Cheshire Cadets, so having the opportunity to be as part of a bigger ensemble, but also learning about the kind of, how to build what it takes to kind of make a song. Because it's not just
find out all the moving components.
Exactly.
So for those who don't know, Mo and I first met about 12, 13 years ago. A band called Cheshire Cadets, which used to practice up in Woolston Park. And it's like a full musical ensemble. And Mo came along and he was the conductor at the front. I was playing the snare. Tom introduced us into it, and then I think you started getting into the snare drum then and expressing an interest to the drum corps. But it was a fun time. It was
really, I mean, that's the thing. I think when you kind of say marching band to someone, they're just like, oh, this one time at band camp, and it's like, if you go and do a band camp, and your body will never be the same. Your body, because it's so physically demanding. When you're marching, because you obviously carrying these heavy instruments, you're doing it for 4 or 5 hours in a day, and it requires complete concentration. So I loved it because it meant I had to be focused. But I love that moment when you're on the field and you can hear everything all around you, and it's all just huts,
everyone's got stern faces,
literally
game face on. No, it was good. It was a really good time, and I think from what I remember, that's kind of when people started noticing your talent, and because you started gigging then. Started getting more involved in more music projects. I mean, just talk me through that kind of high school period. So were you gigging at that time, or what school? You went to Greg's, didn't you?
I went to Greg's.
Yeah, went to Greg's.
I tried to just get as much experience as I could, whether it was going into bars or pubs. I'd ask if I could play. They'd be like, show us what you can do. I'd show people, and they could say, right, you can come and play here. But obviously I wasn't old enough to drink in there, so a lot of the time it was come in through this door, play here, and then you've got to go. And I was like, I enjoyed getting that experience. And I think for a lot of performers, some of them, they'll sing for a number of years, but actually get that performance experience, getting in front of crowds, a lot of people kind of shy from it. But for me, I wanted to throw myself in at the deep end, put yourself in positions that aren't necessarily going to be comfortable. You're not going to be in front of people who the crowd may necessarily not like you at the start, but then by the end of it, they're like, please stay. So
you've got to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly.
We've all got those gigging experiences where you played to the one bloke at the end of the bar with a pint of Guinness, a pint of Guinness, and you've got to stick at it, haven't you?
I used to, so the Quarter Bar, I used to run a night on every Sunday, and at the time, it would have up and down days. Some days you might go in and you'd perform to 200-300 people throughout the course of a night. other times you might have 2 people in the whole space of that whole 7-hour stretch. So it was about kind of just grinding through it, and I'd still be sat there blasted, like belting these songs out. But
Yeah.
it like for me, it wasn't about, oh, I want to be a singer, and so I need to have this validation. It was about get that experience, get that grafting, get used to the disappointing times when people aren't necessarily going to show up. Get used, enjoy the high times when you've got a room full of people who just won't stop listening to you. But as a result, you build up a resilience.
And would you say what's more difficult, playing in front of 2 people or 300?
Honestly, 2 people is a lot. I would say playing in front of 2 people is a lot harder than 300, because when you have a big group of people, if 100 of those people are doing this, you're going to be relaxed. Even if 20 of those people are on the phones, but if there's 2 people in the room, one of them is watching you, and the other person's like this, you're going to be like, yo, I'm not sure I'm doing something right. So, like that's the way I've always kind of felt about it. But for me, it was always about, in order to get that final end product, you've got to have put in, it's like 10,000 hours. You've got to have put in that time and putting in that graft in order to achieve even that little step towards your end goal.
So in terms of when you left high school and you were regularly playing gigs, I mean, was it when you left high school and college, was it kind of right, this is what I want to do? Did you have a job as well as gigging, or was it just gigging that you were involved with?
I was a bit of a mad one, really, because I left school and I kind of, I would probably say, went off the beaten path in a sense that I was very rebellious. I left school, I left home at 16, and was just like, I'm going out in the world, I'm going to do my own thing. And so I would gig. I would gigged all around Warrington. One of the great things is that everywhere in Warrington, venue wise, they're always open to you performing. So it was very easy for me to kind of get myself out there.
Yeah.
Because I could take, for example, the lounge, the quarter bar, the first 2 places that I ever properly gigged in. Both venues allowed me to kind of just be myself, do what I want, and it was strange for me because at that point I was my own independent person, and whereas a lot of people at that age, they're still having a lot of people make decisions for them.
Yeah, still living at home and things like that.
Whereas for me, I kind of was just every decision I make now, it's for myself. So I was just like, I'm going to go to Liverpool and I'm going to go play in this random place that I've never heard of. And those were the kind of decisions that I was making, because it's like, well, if I want to, kind of get my name out there, that's going to be the best way to do it. I'm going to go to these random places. Might not go to them again, but I've put myself out there. And I worked doing bar work, worked in the Lidl warehouse in Runcorn. Worked in a village hotel as a night porter and as working as a waiter, but my thing was always music. And for me, it was everything was always, I'll work, but if a gig comes along, if it means I have to quit my job to go do a gig, it was the risks that I was always prepared to take. Because for me, it was always, music went from being something that I liked to suddenly being the thing that in my mind was going to be the thing that was going to that was going to be my career. It was going to put food on the table. That was going to be the thing that I wanted to be, say, known for. When people think of me, that's the thing that I wanted people to know me for, basically. Hardworking guy who's just
I suppose really, I mean, the other podcasts that we've had business owners in Warrington, it's very much the feedback they were giving me is, you've got to go with both hands, you've got to be committed, and you've got to be prepared to take a few risks along the way. Like you were saying there, if it was the job or music, music wins all day, and now it's starting to pay dividends for you for the hard work.
That's
so
true.
Going from gigging all the time, working in bars around and hotels around Warrington. There's an obvious point in your career that was a real turning point.
Yeah.
So just talk us through where were you and where did you get to think The Voice? I'm going to audition for that.
I mean, it was really bizarre because so me and Max had been just finished running an event at the Quarter Bar in Warrington. It was a bank holiday weekend. We both live very close to town, and he was like, "Oh, why don't we go up to Stockton Heath and we'll go for a couple of drinks there. A few people are out." It's like, "Yeah, we'll go do that." So we went up to Stockton Heath, went to the pub. And then next thing we know, it was like, "Oh, we're running an open mic. Do you want to get up?" And we were like, "Yeah, we'll get up, play a few songs," because I love doing music, so performing's never really a problem for me. So we both got up, did what we usually do. Just, we jam all the time when we were at home, so we just we'll get up, do a couple of songs together. I think we both did a song each as well. So we're doing this. We sit back down anyway. These two guys come up to us and they're just like, "Hi, we're from ITV. We really listen to you guys. You'd be interested in audition." And obviously at this point it's bank holiday weekend and everyone's had a few drinks in, so I just
"Oh, good one, mate."
Yeah, it was literally
Right,
"Oh yeah, cheers, mate." And then literally the next day, both get phone calls, both get emails, and we're just like, "Oh, I think these guys are being serious."
Being genuine.
And so we just at that point I was like, "Well, I know that I want to be a musician," and I think unfortunately when you're living up north, everything is kind of very. If you're a musician, they're looking for someone who's either in an indie band or a rock band. So trying to kind of get yourself out there and known when you're not in a band setting can be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Especially mainly because the North is just known for having so many great bands.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, "You know what? We might as well give it a go. We don't know where it's going to go, and we
both got through.
We both got through."
So the first time that you went to audition, was it obviously the TV version of the show makes the perception that you're on there for the first time ever. I'm sure is there a process you have to go through before you get to the TV show?
There's a little process that we went through, and I think it's kind of more like a clearance thing. So they kind of you speak to you and you kind of find out, is there anything that could come back to bite us if we put you on this? And I think it's also a very good way of doing it because you kind of work out, you find obviously personal stuff out about you, but it's kind of to see if we put you on television, are you going to be able to cope with it? Are you going to be overwhelmed by it? Is it going to stress you out? So you kind of go through that kind of process with them beforehand, so that when you get to that audition, they know, right, this person's going to be okay. They're not going to get overwhelmed by it.
Fall apart on the stage.
And even if you do get overwhelmed, we know that we can help them, we can support them through it. And so it was that whole, even the process before the audition, even then, that it was so clear and everyone was always so open and honest about everything. So I was just like, "Oh, this is good. This is going to be really
so
good."
So they're giving you good feedback as well.
Yeah, they were giving us good feedback, and they were just simply saying, "Just be yourself. Don't try and change to be how you think people want you to be. Just do you, and any support you need from us, we'll be here for it." And so I was like, "Yeah, this is going to be awesome." And then I remember walking out to go do my audition, and I just watched Max's audition. So Max's audition was just before mine.
Yeah.
And I was watching his from the side of the stage, and I was buzzing. I was like, "Get it!"
Yeah.
I was going mental, basically.
But I'm almost sure from memory that's the first time we saw you on the TV was when he was performing.
Yeah.
And I remember getting a text off my mate Mike, and he's like, "Whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing and turn on the TV and put the voice on. I was like, oh, what's going on here? Clicked it on. I was like, Smell? And you came on, and we were like, the boy can sing. Everyone was turning around, and it was great. But what was that moment like for you? So were you nervous? Did many people know?
To be honest, I literally, only people who knew, my work knew, because I had to get the days off for it. But other than that, like I literally kept it under wraps. And like, it's like when I was walking on stage at the time, because like I walked on a set of stairs and ripped my pants. So so the only thing I could kind of think of was, I've got this rip in my pants. I hope it doesn't show up on the camera, because the cameras are 360 round you, so
really?
Like wherever you are, any
no.
angle, the cameras can just see like everything. So I was like walking on stage with my legs like close together, just like, I hope no one sees it. And I think as a result of that, like, you know, the nerves that would normally come when you're on stage, like the nerves weren't there, because the only thing I could think about was ripping my pants.
Yeah.
So like the music comes in, and so I'm just like, okay, sing. And like when I sing, well, I think one of the biggest critiques that people give me is I close my eyes a lot. But it's mainly because I just get into a space, and I'm just, it doesn't matter if there's a room with people there, I'm just like in the zone. And all I can remember is my eyes were closed. I opened my eyes, saw one seat turned, closed my eyes, looked up again, there was more seats turned, and then like every single time I'm just like, okay, this is mad, like what's going on? Like this, and the crowd was all jumping and clapping, and I was just like, I think like in my head I was like, I think it did all right. Like you know, the crowd enjoyed it, the coaches liked it.
You absolutely smashed it though. Let's be honest. If anyone's not heard the first audition, I'm sure you can get it on YouTube. I think it was it Iron Sky?
Yeah.
You sang by Palanatini. Honestly, the version that you did, you can understand why the judges turned around. But that moment when they turned around the first time, that must have been such a surreal moment, that you've been working since you were 11 for your, you know, learning back in Cheshire Cadets. You've been gigging on the weekends relentlessly to get industry professionals, Tom Jones, will.i.am, Jennifer Hudson. What was that like?
It was crazy, to be honest. Like I was kind of just like staring at them, and like, you know, when you're looking at someone, you're not sure if they're real or not, because you're looking at them and just like, I can see you there, but I'm not entirely sure if like someone at some point I'm going to blink and it's going to be like, right, Mo, get back to doing your job.
Yeah.
And so like I was kind of just stood there, and like they were talking to me, and I was just like trying to keep it cool, but like on the inside my heart was like, I was going mad.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then
mine was for you, and I wasn't even there. I think the whole of Warrington was sat there just in awe.
It was just like, it was crazy. Like I was kind of just like, I think I might have to tell my boss I'm not like coming into work for like at least a couple of weeks. And like after our audition, because mine was the last one of like, I think pretty much the last one of that like session. It's like me and Max were walking out, and all four of them pull out, and I was just like, oh no, and like they would like start walking towards us, and I was just like, and so we're having this conversation, and I'm just, for the whole time I'm just staring at them, just like, don't freak out, just like, whatever you do, just don't freak out, because if you freak out now, then...
Did you have a fangirl moment?
Oh mate, I literally, like, after like we'd had this little chat with him, and they'd gone, me and Max were literally in this box room just jumping up and down, just like, mate, what's going on? Just like, because it was just so surreal, because we were just like, you go from literally just being sat in a room with loads of other people, suddenly just this TV studio with all like, and you're walking out and it's all silent, and you've got this whole crowd just staring at you, just trying to work out if you're going to be good or not.
Yeah, surreal moment. It's like a judgment day.
Literally, it was literally like you're walking through, just like, is this gonna go okay? Everyone's looking at you like, is this guy going to be okay? But then their faces suddenly change, and you're like, okay. It's all right
so
now.
you were Team J Hood.
Yeah.
And then who did Max choose?
Gavin.
Oh, what did he?
Yeah, like Gavin was amazing. Like, I felt for him, because not a lot of people knew him.
Yeah.
But as a coach, like he was really supportive, and not just of his own contestants. He was supportive of like everyone. He'd be in rehearsals, and he'd literally turn around like, I really like that you did there. Don't this is the advice I'd give you.
Really
and like he was just this really nice, down to earth guy who just wanted to make sure everyone was having a good time.
Will.i.am, talk to me. What was he like?
You can't. There's no doubt the guy's a genius. Like he knows his stuff. I think for me, like it was very. I've grown up listening to the Black Eyed Peas. Grown up listening to Will.i.am, so it's like, oh my gosh, this guy is like giving me advice, and even though a lot of the time it was in riddles, like you could always tell it was from like a good, like it all came from a good place. His
creative mind and tuning of how he explains things.
Yeah, I suppose because of how well how much he's achieved. I think when you're actually speaking to him, he's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. You just got to do you. And it's just like, mate, like, you're the guy who's out here designing sports cars and car factories while making music, and it's like, how? Teach me. So, it was just, learning from him and speaking to him. It was a huge experience, in itself. Just being around those kind of people, and then obviously Jennifer was just this next level vocal. I don't even know how to describe it. Like she could sit down on it. She would sit down on like the floor and sing as if with the same amount of power as if she was singing while stood up.
Really?
And it was you'd just be like, how are you doing this? It's like this I would say there's levels to the game, and like she was just
the next level.
Yeah, like it was like Super Saiyan, like Mo, because it was effortless. Like she could literally do this thing where she just sit on a chair and she'd be like, no matter where your body's contorted, you can still make the same sound, and she would do it while moving her body around while holding the same note with the same power. It's like, what? If I lean slightly to the left, like I feel I'm going to lose some of my air. So, it was an amazing experience, and to be around such legends and icons of.
And what better way to learn your craft and articulate your passion and your style than to have four of the biggest names in the music industry.
Exactly.
Just say, listen, Mo, we'll give you a few tips and away you go. But that process really, you went from the blind audition, you smashed every single week that we saw you on the TV, the battles, the public started saving you. At what stage, if any, through the course of the voice process, did you think, I'm in with a shot here?
To be honest, when I went on it, my main thing was to test, like, I'd been gigging for a number of years, and I was like, is this where I'm gonna be for the rest of my life? And when I got onto the show, I was like, how far can you push yourself? Yeah. And the aim wasn't to win; it was more to kind of see how well do I stack up against other people who are eyeing up the same career as me.
Yeah. And
as the show went on, I was just like, okay, I'm doing well. I just need to make sure that my next performance is as good as the last one that I did. As the show's going on, to be honest, even when it was just the final two stood on stage, in my head I was like, I didn't know how it was going to go.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was the public assumption that I was the favourite, because like bookies and stuff like that. But we've all watched sport. You never know how it's going to go until you get to the day. So for me, I was just my main focus was don't mess up. And then on the very last song that I had to sing, I messed up, and I was just like, I got so close, and I was like, I might actually get through this whole entire show but one mess up on stage, and then the last song, the very first line I messed up, but then after it, I kind of recovered it. Like it's kind of just slid underneath the radar for a little bit.
So that I mean, when it comes to that last show and you were on the stage, I mean, everyone in Warrington was rooting for you. Everyone knew at that point that who you were and you were on the show, and it was being watched by millions on TV. But that we were all anxious because we wanted you to win. We were rooting for you. But what was that moment like on stage, just before they announced your names and said that you were the winner? If it was me, I'd be passed out on the floor. Well, how did you cope with that?
Well, we were really so the other lads into the arc who I was on stage with, we were really close. Because the whole time we were on the show, we spent a lot of time together. For the live shows, we were all in this apartment block.
Yeah.
So we were in rehearsals together, and then on our downtime, we all hung out together. And so I think because I had Max was there with me, they were there. When it got to just us lot on stage, we were just yo, regardless of how this goes, we've all had a boss time, and in my head I was like, if I don't win, this is I'm not gonna be sad about it, because
I
had a great experience, and I've done something that I never necessarily thought I would do, and I've probably proved a lot of other people wrong, who thought he's going to be on the same level. And so walking on stage, I was like, if I win, that's the icing on the cake. But if I don't, I made a lot of really good friends, and the experience has been incredible. So my main focus was just don't pass out.
Been there, yeah. We had fun. Don't pass out. Honestly, the world would have closed in on me on that stage before they did. But you did it. You got the business done. You were a champion from the first audition in our eyes, and then life, as you knew it, probably turned upside down, back to front.
Yeah, everything changed massively. I think I feel I did handle it very well. I think usually you get the whole recklessness and people going out and doing stupid stuff, but for me, my main focus was to do the total opposite, and was keep myself focused, because while I understood that I had you kind of have a bit of a spotlight on you, because all of a sudden people are like, okay, well, what are you doing now? What are you doing in the future? What are you doing next week? And it was so anywhere you went for a while, everyone was, there was eyes on you, so you kind of had to.
What was that? Was that intimidating, or?
I'll be brutally honest. The first couple of weeks, I freaked out.
Did you?
There was one time I ended up running through a train station because I got so anxious that it was just kind of the sheer amount of people, and I was just because I've never really been that kind of that person. That I was kind of just it overwhelmed me, but then I kind of learned over time how to deal with that. And now, I'm comfortable when people come up to me and can talk to them, because I think it's one of those when you're a singer, I think people presume that because you sing you must have that confidence in every aspect of your life, but I've always said I'm more confident on stage than I am on a day-to-day basis, because being on stage and when I'm singing, it's home for me. It's I'm comfortable. Whereas the kind of day-to-day stuff, I still have I still have that anxiety. I'm still having to kind of deal with that kind of
change.
That change from going to just being able to walk down the street normal and no one saying anything, to suddenly someone being so people be can I have a photo? And I'm just yeah. I've just always been a quiet person, and then you always get the people oh, he's changed, he's not the same person that he used to be, and it's I've not changed, it's just that I'm not.
You have to live differently.
Yeah, you have to live differently, but I also think that a lot of the time when people say, "Oh, that you've changed," it's they never really knew you never really knew to begin with, because they're always like, "Oh, he's changed." It's like, no, but there's so many people who like they're writing these different things online, and I was like, it was bizarre because I spent my time gigging in Warrington from being a teenager, and so to see people kind of saying different things, and it was like they'd walk past me all the time when I was performing, but no one would, they couldn't make the effort to pop in. But then as soon as I'd done something, they were like, "Oh, he's changed, he's not this same guy." And it's like, no, I'm just no longer on the level that you expected me to be on, and I've exceeded your expectations.
Yeah.
So it's kind of learning to balance that and just keep on.
So just going back to what you said there, Mo, obviously your life went from being in Warrington, playing to a couple of people, then to being known by millions across the UK.
Yeah.
And like I said, there are a lot of people writing stuff online. They had preconceptions of who you are or what you would be like. I mean, like mentally, how did you cope with that change? Was there anything that you learned to do, or open up a new piece of your mind that learned to cope with it? I mean, just talk us through how you cope with it all.
I think, like, for me, one of the things that I learned very early was people are always going to write what they want to write, and we live in a social media age where you can write whatever you want online, unless someone reports it, it's going to be there. And so I just, like, for me, I realised if you bite at every single thing that someone says, then people are going to know that that it gets to you, so then you're going to get that more. Whereas if you find a way to kind of deflect it and not necessarily forget about it, but kind of laugh it off and kind of show that, like this is more of a problem for the person than it is for you. Automatically, you're just like you feel so much better. And I think like mentally, I've always had to be thick-skinned just because of the way I've been brought up. So when I was getting stuff online, I was always able to kind of laugh it off, and I'd just be like,
whatever.
Yeah, I'd just be like, one of us is going to sleep better tonight. Who's really lost out?
Yeah.
And I mean, and I also have really good friends. Like I have been lucky in the sense that while all that was going on, I've had the same group of friends since I was a kid. So I had the same people around me to offer me support, and so half the time you don't even have to say anything because you've already got people prepared to kind of do all that like work for you. So it's just about self-preservation half the time.
So you won The Voice, life changed, Polydor Records, the record label, and then it kind of went from a media point of view. You won The Voice, and like all these things, it kind of not disappears, but no one hears anything for a while. But obviously, your life is running at 6,000 miles an hour. But for the general public, it's like, oh well, where's Mo gone? What's he doing now? So you went abroad, didn't you, to record an album?
Yeah. So I'd been abroad. Some to go see some family and stuff as well. And for me, I even took some time away from the whole music thing. For me, I'd had a difficult relationship with Polydor and Universal and that kind of the post-show kind of stuff. Publicly, I didn't kind of talk about it because obviously you're under contract to someone. You can't exactly turn around and be like, "This is going on." So
we're falling out.
Yeah, it's like it was one of those, like, for a while it kind of felt like I was just stood in a burning house, and so I just took myself away from the music side, and I just think I was like, what is it that I want from life? Like, is music what I want to do? Is this how I want to continue going about things? And so I took a step back, did some travelling, went to go see some family, did some writing abroad, and I kind of wanted to
See you later. For those who don't know, we're recording this inside a acoustic cafe in the town centre, and we've got a couple of little guests that are sat around watching us and waving, and they've just left, so they must have got bored of what we're saying. All right, so you need to stop being interesting, Mo. Come on.
So yeah, like I was traveling, like I wanted to kind of just experience my own life a little, away from the kind of pressure of you have to record music. But as a result, it gave me so many new ideas and projects that I'm now working on.
But that must have been, if you think about it, such a huge, difficult time. You've gone from an aspiring musician, you go on The Voice, one of the, if not the biggest show for singers to go on to. You win the show, you get there where everyone wants to be, and you think, actually, it's not working. This. That must have been hard for you to come to terms with.
It was it was difficult because everyone's seen what you're doing, and they're like, you're in the studio, you go into these events, and everyone's like, oh, that's amazing. But what they don't see is the back and forth where you're trying to put your point across to an industry professional, as they're called, and you're trying to kind of shape your own career, and someone's kind of pushing it completely off course, and that was the most kind of stressful point, because I was writing music Monday to Friday for 4 or 5 months. So it was basically more or less, I was writing a new song every single day.
Wow.
So then when it got to the album coming out, and someone turns around and is like, so yeah, we're gonna put 7 covers on the album, we're gonna put 2 or 3 songs that you wrote, and I'm just like, why have I wrote like 200 plus songs for you to use 3 or 4 of them? And so at that point I was just like, well, let me just get this over and done with, and we can all just, we can leave.
So you were contracted just the one album with them?
So yeah, well, originally I was contracted for an EP. The EP sales wise, numbers wise, did really well, but it didn't count towards the album chart, because the rules of selling an EP at that point meant it didn't count towards the album chart. So they were like, okay, can you do an album with us? But they did their thing. Their industry professionals did their thing. It was a bit of a car. Well, I'm not going to say car crash, but it was a bit of a. One side thought that they knew better than the others, so
it kind of felt like, from a fan's position, that you got to that certain stage, the EP was amazing, everyone loved it, but then it kind of felt like the momentum was building, and then the album was released. It's like, there's your album, right? Cool.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like. And that's probably what you're actually describing happened.
Yeah.
Because we got the album, we was like, this is amazing, and then we were expecting a tour, we were expecting more publicity, and everyone kind of was like, oh, all right.
I was scratching my head the same, and then for me, the thing that kind of set it all off was a tour being cancelled on my behalf. Well, no, so I was asked to go do a tour on a supporting slot, which was then turned down before me actually being directly asked. So at that point I was like, well, it kind of feels like someone's trying to tank me here, so
yeah,
it just doesn't smell quite right, and but you're the one who's left to deal with the consequences, because it's your.
Everyone's asking you the questions.
Yeah, everyone's asking you the questions, and it's your name on the ticket. You're the one who everyone's pointing the finger at, whereas they don't realise, even though it's your name on it, you're not actually making the final decisions. Because there's no way, if it were me, would I have allowed my first debut album to have 4 or 5 covers on an album? It just doesn't, when you're a singer-songwriter who spent years of their life writing music, and then someone puts half your album has covers.
Well, let alone you just spent 4 months and wrote 200 of your own tracks, and you go, right, we're going to use 2 of them.
Exactly. I was just like, just doesn't make sense. And they've just picked songs, and even then they picked songs that like I'd written with people but didn't like, but it's the music industry.
Yeah. So obviously a lot's changed. It's been a huge roller coaster for you. But what's next? So what's next on the list? When can we get some new music from you?
Yeah.
Some new live dates.
So my next show will be April the 15th in London, and then I'll be setting up some European dates
Nice.
throughout the summer. I'll be heading
Costa del Warrington.
Costa del Warrington. We're performing in Norway. Got a music festival, and so doing 2 different shows there. New music will be coming probably around I'm aiming for May time.
Okay.
So there's a few people I've been working with, jumping in the studio with, it's been a lot of fun. To be honest, I've enjoyed having the creative control.
Yeah.
To kind of say, this is what I want to do, this is how I want it to sound, this is who I want to work with, and as a result, I've got the happiness back.
Yeah, the love for the music back.
The love and the passion for the music's there now.
So what sort of style is the new music going to be?
I think it's going to surprise people.
Still a bit soul?
Yeah, no, like the soul never, like the soul will always be there. I think for me, I wanted to kind of go back to the kind of less polished sound.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, like anyone who's ever saw me live, growing up, it was always rough around the edges, but that was what I loved about my craft.
Yeah.
It wasn't clean and polished and put a nice pretty bow on it. It was a bit rough, but that's life.
I think a lot of the chart stuff is now. It's polished, it's perfect, it's clean.
Exactly. Everything's too pretty, and it's just we need a little bit of dirt in there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's why we've got coronavirus, because everyone needed a little bit of dirt. Oh,
there's that word.
There it is.
No, it sounds exciting. So looking around May time, are we doing an EP or are you doing an album?
So at the moment I'm looking at doing an EP.
Okay.
So my main thing is I'm going to drip out a few singles, just so people can get some new music. Release an EP, or releasing it all independently as well. That's the plan.
Good.
And then my next plan is to set up a studio, which will be used. I'll be using it for myself, obviously, but I want to set up a kind of a community, a community studio. So getting young people involved, people who are interested in music but don't necessarily have the access to a studio or access to instruments, and kind of just giving people a space where they can create freely. I think one of the biggest problems we face in this kind of modern day economy is everyone has budgets. Everyone's like, oh, we can't pay for this, we can't pay for that, and as a result, so many people miss out, and particularly younger generations, because they don't have the same access that some of us might have had 10, 15 years ago. So that is something that I'm also building to
give them the platform.
Give people a platform, and also give them a space to have the opportunity.
You can call upon your experience now as to you've been working with the highest record labels and the most influential people in the music industry to help those sorts of people that have got an idea or a craft or a sound that they're working on. They're just never going to get that opportunity. So it's great to see that you're again helping the grassroots from where you've been. All the problems that people face, and give them that platform.
That's true. That's the thing. This town is me growing up. I watched so many amazing artists and musicians and singers, and it was just about most of the time it's not even their abilities matches anyone up and down the country. It's just having the right space and giving that platform to kind of do it is the difference. So
good.
That's what I'm looking to do.
Well, I'm sure everyone that's been listening today is really keen to hear the new music. I know I am. I'm keen to see you in Warrington I know Charlotte and I have said for a while. We bumped into you actually. You played at the auction rooms. I think it was just a one-off, and we caught you there, which was great to see. So yeah, it'd be nice to get you back in Warrington, and I'm sure
Definitely.
the hometown will get behind it. Well, listen, guys, we could sit here all day and talk to Mo about his journey. Mo, if it's all right with you, I'd like to invite you back
Oh, it'll be a
once you
pleasure.
release the new music, and we'll have a catch up later in the year. As always, guys, if you're a Warrington Buyers Club member, we'll be catching up with Mo, posting more videos about him and his career. So make sure you keep an eye out for the tour dates and for the dates that hopefully gets released in Warrington pretty soon.
Definitely.
Today we've been sat in Acoustic Cafe. You'll get 10% in here, and if you go to the auction rooms as well, where there's live music, pretty much every couple of weeks, you get 10% off in there as well. So Mo, anything you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
If you haven't already, follow Buyers Club, and I've been Mo Jamil. Thank you very much.
Yeah, make sure you get downloading and streaming his music as well. Cheers, Mo.
Thank you.